And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are doing another YouTube live stream here, and we are also streaming live to x.com, formerly Twitter, kick.com, twitch.com, and LinkedIn Live all at once, thanks to our good friends over at StreamYard. Still using that system here for the live streams. Today, we're going to be talking about passive income and monetization on YouTube and how you can actually start developing passive income streams for YouTube in 2025 or even right this minute. But we're going to really talk about prepping your channel going into 2025 here. And so the main idea here is that there are a couple of different ways that you can create passive income on YouTube. Before we get too far into that, definitely want to thank all of our channel members. Also want to thank all of the members and students over at awesomecreatoracademy.com. You should also make sure you go over to awesomecreatoracademy.com and check out our free Creator Foundations course. This is a course with over 5 hours, I think, of material in it right now that can help you, especially if you're under 10,000 subscribers in YouTube or any of your social media platforms. It'll give you a good, solid foundation for creating content and really understanding the fundamentals of things like content strategy, the basic monetization models that you can use to make money as a content creator. And also, as far as I'm concerned, we've created what I feel is probably one of the best, if not the best overall courses, free or paid, when it comes to content creation. So just want to make sure you guys are checking that out. You can go to awesomecreatoracademy.com, and that is where you will find that. It is our free course. Let me check the comment section here before we get too far into this. Okay, we got a couple of questions here in the chat, and I'll make sure I get to those. Oh, YouTube is making me verify that it's me. Give me one quick second, you guys. And are you guys seeing? Am I coming through fine for you guys, or is there a little bit of a delay on my end? Hopefully, I'm coming in smooth for all of you. So we got some new promo graphics. We also have a couple of new sponsors, but we also have a promo graphic here if you guys want to check out my book. I wrote a book all about content creation, and I happen to think it's pretty dope. So you also can feel free to check that out. Give me one quick sec here. YouTube is being weird. It's doing something where it needs me to verify my account on the back end because I want to show you guys some stuff, but YouTube is not cooperating with me right now. Oh, I need to allow pop-ups from YouTube Studio. That'd be why. Video seems to be a little laggy, but audio is good. Okay. I'm going to see if I can do anything about the lag. Just bear with me here. We're going to see what we can do about that. Maybe if we close these extra windows, that'll do it. Actually, let's try this. Oh, I see what it is. Hang on. I didn't realize I still had a window open that had Discord. That was probably causing almost all of the lag. So let's just give it a second to catch up now. It should be fine. Yeah, that should be getting better any second now if it's not better already. All right, that should be really good to go now. So we have a question here from Purple Blue. Do you believe that you should use YouTube to also go into traditional media, becoming an actor or musician? If that's still a goal of yours, even though I feel a lot more people are embracing the path of becoming independent. I think more people are becoming independent, right? And I don't think we need traditional media. I think that if you want to, like, what would be the goal of being an actor, for example? The goal of being an actor would be to be able to be in content and be well known by people. You could do that now without the mainstream media and without Hollywood. I would argue that more people under 30 know who Kai Cenat is than know who, say, Christina Milian is. More people under 30, right? So there's not really, in my mind, this amazing thing that happens. You can bridge content creation, YouTube, and other platforms to traditional. I don't know that that's the goal because now everyone from traditional media is trying to become an independent content creator and build a personal brand. So it seems almost backwards to worry about. Now, again, if that's just some childhood dream you had, then that's fine. But it seems to me you could be an independent and do everything yourself. You can be an author yourself. I became a self published author. You can get your stuff up on Spotify. I have music up on Spotify. You can do a lot of things independently. And I don't really necessarily know that you need traditional for any of it. So I think that a lot of you could just go the independent route. And that's something, again, that even talking about passive income and becoming a content creator that you can do. Um, let's see here. Hopefully, my slides are. Here we go. So, full time create a blueprint. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this, shall we? So, full time creator blueprint. Now, ultimately, I did a presentation on this at VidCon this year, if anyone was able to attend VidCon. But there's a lot to this. And in my mind, if you want to build passive income, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. I do have about maybe like five specific parts of it that I really do want to cover. There is a brief portion here where you can look at some of my income streams. I've been earning passive income on YouTube for years and years and years now, maybe a decade. And there's a couple of different approaches to it. If you build a strong enough evergreen back catalog of content, whether you're an entertainer who's an influencer or an educator who's a thought leader like me, you can build a back catalog. And yes, you would make money off your AdSense, but it's not the best method for making passive income, nor is it the most lucrative potentially. I would argue that there are much better ways to make passive income. They just vary from niche to niche, and kind of there's a split if you are an influencer versus a thought leader. Obviously, I'm more of a thought leader, so I do education based content. Even before I started teaching anything about YouTube, it was freelancers before it was content creators. But freelancers, in a way, ended up becoming content creators one way or another. So it was my own evolution. So I started just going that route in terms of the content that I was putting out because the overlap is tremendous between freelancing and content creation anyway. So for me, it wasn't that big of a bridge. And all the skills that I had as a freelancer serve you as a content creator. So I was making money doing video editing for other people, mostly brands, which now is just UGC content. So if you're a video editor, but you were working for brands instead of content creators, if you're working for businesses, essentially you could just end up being a UGC creator, which, is a way of doing sponsorship where you're posting to the brand social media instead of using your own audience. So that's a bridge right there. If you were doing graphic design and photography, then ultimately those are skills that you need to be a thumbnail designer and creator anyway. So a lot of this was just a bridge over. Also, the graphic design skills lend themselves to designing your own merch and not necessarily having to hire a freelancer to design your own merch. So you save a lot of money. If you end up learning web design like I did, you're able to build your own websites, sell your own products. Again, you don't have to hire someone, so you save a lot of money and you get to make money. So that is how I started with a lot of this. I built upon those skills. Now, the passive income side, yes, ad revenue is one of them, but don't discount things like the Amazon affiliate program. It's now the Amazon influencer program. Back when I was in it, it was more of the Amazon associates program. So I made a lot of that off of tech, camera gear, laptop reviews for budget laptops, microphones, that sort of thing. The commissions were really good. For camera gear stuff, if you end up selling a professional Sony lens, for example, $90 commissions, I swear to you, $90 commissions on Sony G Master lenses. Some of the more expensive camera bodies can be $200 commissions. So the tech space, if you're someone who's doing cameras and laptops, oh, the commissions are really good there for Amazon. And that's what Amazon's lowball commissions of 2 to 8%. So that's just really good because that category is expensive. But there's other types of affiliate marketing. If you're a thought leader, then you get to do software as a service. I earn like 5, 6 grand a month off of software as a service. So that makes sense. I have a private membership website for myself with Kajabi. You can get that with my link in the description. In fact, actually, I might have a 50% off coupon that today only might be good. So I'm going to post that in the chat. It won't be in the description for that coupon. The only reason that coupon will have to be in the chat and not the description is because it's limited to midnight tonight. So it's going to go away here. So I don't want to put it in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm not going to put it in the description. I'm going to put it in the chat because only the people live tonight will be able to take advantage of the 50% off deal. Now, what you'll get is you'll get 50% off for the whole year, whether you do a monthly or a yearly plan. You'll get 50% off of the normal price for a whole year. So that's actually really dope. And that's today only. So here is the link. If you want to set up a website that lets you do your own private membership website, or you want to sell courses, or you want to do anything like that, this link will get you 50% off of Kajabi, but only until midnight tonight. So you don't have long. So I'm going to link that in the chat here. And there you guys go. So you have that in the chat now to be able to use that. Other than that, for those of you who are watching the replay, you can use my link, my referral link, which is an affiliate link for me, and you'll get a free trial. But everybody else tonight would get 50% off their first year. So limited time plan there. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to make passive income. I'm going to get into how you can make it with your own subscription and membership because there's a way to make that passive. For some people, that becomes active as well, but you can make that passive with products like I alluded to earlier, whether it's digital products or merchandise or even courses, you can earn passive income that way as well once you build something. So there are a couple of different methods here. So affiliates, memberships, subscriptions. There are a couple of other options here, but we'll get into that here in a second. I'm going to answer a couple of your quick questions. So Tech Entrepreneurship says, do you believe that you should follow your passion, create content, or only for the money? Well, that's why I brought up the Ikigai thing earlier, because I think it depends. If you're a kid in your 20s, by all means, follow your passion. Hell, if you're a kid in your 20s, follow, as long as you're not coming from a very underprivileged background, follow your passion over a cliff as long as you don't die. Follow your passion over a cliff as long as you don't die. Fail, get broke, fall flat on your face. As long as you can go back home to mommy and daddy, you can follow your passion for all I care. I'm not really big on the idea of following your passion because most people who do it, it's why 99% of people fail. 99% of people fail because they either follow their passion or because they only get into something for the money. There is a more practical approach than that. Because here's the thing. If you get into something for the money, but you're bad at it, it doesn't matter. If you get into something for the money, but you don't have just enough passion for it to ever get good at it, or to be motivated to keep going it, you're eventually going to fail and burn out or burn out. It's either one or both. Okay. But I'm going to be real. I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to say something most YouTubers and most YouTube educators don't want me to say. Most people telling you to follow your passion are full of crap. Most people telling you to follow your passion are full of crap. Most of the content creators on YouTube would not be doing what they're doing if it didn't make money. Most of the content creators on YouTube are captured by their audience. If people weren't showing up, they would stop making that content and they'd make something else. Doesn't matter if they like it or not. It's a job at that point. If you're a full-time creator, you're doing this because it makes money. If you lose money on it, you stop doing it because you can't do that indefinitely because you will be poor. If you're a content creator who has kids, you cannot do something just because you're passionate about it. You will be poor, you will end up broke, your children will resent you, you will end up divorced, your life will be over. You cannot do something just because you want to if you're an adult who has responsibilities to other people. You have to do things that will make sense because you are an adult. If you are single and in your 20s, as most of the big YouTubers are, you will notice a pattern. The biggest YouTubers, with the exception of Mark Rober and Casey Neistat for the most part, are single, unmarried, no children, under 30. They can do whatever the hell they want because most of them will not be actually poor if they don't, or they already didn't come from an underprivileged background, and failing would mean they go back to mommy and daddy in the suburbs and go and work for one of mommy and daddy's friends from the country club. That's the harsh truth. I'm not going to mince words with you guys. I'm not out here to be anybody's cheerleader. I'm not over here to win friends, but I am here to influence people. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not telling you that other people are lying or being disingenuous. I just have a much more harsh and much more brutal, ruthless point of view about YouTube and content creation and the creator economy. And I specifically know that overwhelming majority of my audience is over 30, so relates more to what I'm talking about. If you're in your 20s, the reality is you probably shouldn't be watching my content if you're not already wanting to do this as a career and want to do this full time and not willing to make being successful the most important attribute of what you do. If what you want to do is express yourself, if you want to have fun, the reality is my content's not really for you. My content is for people who want to be full time. And if you want to be full time and do a career, having fun is not your number one priority. That's just how it is. So I'm not really here for people who want to have fun making YouTube videos. There are other creators who teach with that philosophy. I'm here for people who want this to be something sustainable in their life, want a return on their investment for all the time and energy they put into it. They want to make their money back. They want to be profitable. They want to be successful. They'd like this to either be side hustle income and make over $1,000 a month on it, or they want it to be full-time income and be able to replace the income from their job. That's who I'm here for. I am not here for hobby creators. I'm not here for people who want to have fun. You can watch my content, but it's not really made for you, and it's not really made with those goals in mind. With that said, what I believe in is the Eeeky Framework. So I think that you have to be passionate enough about something, meaning that you shouldn't hate it. It could be your number 5 passion for all I care. More importantly, are you good at it? And is there a large enough market of people that will watch that content and support that content that will satisfy your ego and satisfy your wallet? Because if you're making stuff that you're passionate enough about, and even if you're good at it, if nobody's watching it, you're going to burn out and you're going to quit because a lot of you cannot admit that you have an ego and you want to be seen and you want to be acknowledged for what you do. There's nothing wrong with that. It's healthy to have enough of an ego. There's a healthy version of ego that says you want to be acknowledged, you want to be seen, and you want to be respected. It can be dangerous when you're too validated by that and you want to compromise too many things to get that attention and to get that validation. When you're doing that and you're making compromises and they go too far and you're inauthentic or you become dishonest, that's a problem. But if you have a healthy enough ego, you can set your feelings aside about something and say, well, it is important for me to cater to other people if they're paying me or if they're supporting me. So you have to have that balance. So what I would tell you is instead of picking a thing you're passionate about, I would find a group of people you're passionate about. I would find a community people that are like-minded, like-hearted, meaning people who not only share your interest but share your values, because that would be more important sometimes. So your interest and your values. That's why it's not just like-minded, it's like-hearted as well. Sounds fluffy, but it's very important. So you want to be around people you would actually like and that you'd have things in common with and that you'd share values with and that you have kind of the same beliefs. So that's your market fit, so to speak. People who are passionate about the same things as you and in the same way as you. So that's the overlap. That may not be your number one passion. Maybe your number one passion stays a hobby off to the side. Maybe it's not your number two passion because maybe you're not good at your number two passion. It might be your number three. It might be your number four. It might be your number five. So then you need skills and you need a skill gap between you and the audience, and that's important. The skill gap between you and the audience means you can create value for them because if they can do this themselves, what do they need you for? So your skill level at making content should be above the skill level that your audience has to make content or to do the same thing. You should be slightly ahead of them, whether you're an educator or whether you're an entertainer. If you're an entertainer, your lifestyle needs to be slightly better. If you're a lifestyle influencer, your lifestyle has to be slightly better or a lot more interesting than their lifestyle, because why watch you live your life if they could just be living a better life than you anyway? So you do have to look at that. If you're a gamer, you better bring something to the table. Why watch you play the game instead of playing the game themselves? So there's something you have to bring to the table. Doesn't mean you have to be inherently the best gamer in the world, but you have to create some value in the game that exists for them in a way that they're not able to entertain themselves in the same way by just playing the game for themselves in the first place. So there has to be a gap between you and the viewer. So that's the skill gap, as I would say. Ideally, that skill gap would also be something that would make you unique in the market so that you can deliver unique value to the viewers. So it might be that your skill level should be above mid at what you're doing so that it's not easy for somebody to just come along and compete with you. If your skill is high, it can overcome someone being more charismatic or having more money or having more lifestyle or more social proof and status. If not, and you don't have enough skill, you might need to overcome that with things like money, social proof, status, something else. So you have to bring something to the table there. And then as for the monetization piece, the making money piece, look, if you had all of that going for you, but you weren't making any money, you can't sustain and justify doing it. The opportunity costs come too high and you could burn out that way. So the thing is, if you're not good at it and people are dunking on you, you're going to feel bad. You're going to get depressed. If nobody's watching, you don't have a big enough market, you're going to get depressed. If you're not at least enjoying what you're making and taking some passion in it, then you're going to get depressed. You're going to burn out. And if you're not making money, you're going to get depressed. You're going to burn out. So you do have to, it's not an either or. So again, I'm going to tell you, following your passion is a fool's or errand. Following your passion is a fool's errand. And it's mostly for people who are privileged. You got pretty privilege, follow your passion all you want because you're tall, dark, handsome, pretty, whatever. If you're from a privileged background, you got money, you can follow your passion all you want because mommy and daddy will take care of you if you fall flat on your face and they'll just get you a job with one of their friends. Okay, so it doesn't matter. If you are the best in the world at what you are passionate about, then you can follow your passion all you like. So, I would say that following your passion is the ultimate luxury item and the ultimate form of being privileged. For everybody else, the more practical approach would be to find their ikigai and to balance out these things and to make it more sustainable. So, long-winded answer to your question, but I think it's important because I think the most foolish thing that has ever been said in life and in content creation is follow your passion. It is not reasonable for most people to do that come from an ordinary working class background. It doesn't mean there's no room in life for it. It means it cannot be the number one most important thing to you. If you're not in that position, if you want it to be, you have to work and earn that privilege and earn that luxury item. So, that would be where I stand on that issue. IRL Mania says, If you want to do YouTube full time, then treat it as business. If you do it for passion, then make what you want. Business means scale, system, and strategies. Passions mean you need a job. Generally speaking, I agree with that. That's pretty spot on. That's pretty spot on. So, again, like I said, for the working class creators out there, the people who already have, a 9 to 5 job, I think a lot of you struggle with the idea that you want an outlet for your passion. But that sounds like you want a hobby because you know that beating and leaving your 9 to 5 job and quitting your job, you'd have to make money. And the thing is, what makes money might conflict with whatever you're feeling about expressing yourself. So it would have to be, a priority for you to absolutely make money. Yeah, with the creator economy, Nova Fox 64, things are different. I was born in 1984, so that makes me 40. That makes me an old millennial. So, being an older millennial or elder millennial, sometimes they call it, um, I remember exactly what this is like. The cool thing is, we were right on the cusp of people being able to earn money online when I was working my 9 to 5 job. The interesting thing for me is when I was working my 9 to 5 job, and this is many years ago, this is more than a decade ago. I was working in web hosting and web design, which means I was actually helping an early set of online entrepreneurs make money from home with websites, blogs, and e commerce. So that's what inspired me to realize that I could be a full time freelancer, which is what I did. And then full time freelancer became, full time content creator. And then I built Awesome Creator Academy. And so then my website was making me money just like the people that I was working with when I was building websites for a living. So when I was building websites, people were building online businesses, doing e-commerce, physical products, digital products, doing their own academies. We even worked with some of the like first online universities where people were teaching online and setting up webinars. It was the early days of all that stuff in the 2000s. So I was early to internet technology and the online side of making money. It just wasn't for content creators yet. It was for people who could do business and people who could code primarily, even to a degree, people who were very good at writing or had a white collar vocation. That then became something accessible with social media to bring it to the creator economy and to monetize that way. But again, I came from even the early version of that, which came from early e commerce, online business, and blogs and online schools and universities. So I came from the early version of that. And so when I realized, wait a minute, I could do this without my employers. I can just do this myself. Because it became very practical for me, and that's how I got my start. And then when I started doing content stuff for companies, I was like, wait a minute, I can do this myself. And so, yeah, the virtuous cycle of wait a minute, I can just do this myself. So that became important. I would say also, Sarah Dawn is right that you do need a hobby outside of content creation or you lose your mind because it will quickly not become your mode of expression. If you start as a hobby, most content creators start as a hobby. Then, if they pop off, they realize they can make money, they start turning into a business. You do need something that is just for you. The temptation then becomes, oh, well, I'll make another channel to express myself. That might not be a good idea because then that's too much of doing the same things. For me, the thing that I do as a passion that I don't worry too much about monetizing is I do photography. I love doing landscapes. I love doing nature and wildlife. So I do that stuff. I like doing birding. So I do photography. I do some fiction writing outside of the writing I do for content creation. I do some fiction. So I do some things that are just for me. Sometimes I'll write poetry. Sometimes I'll even paint. So I'll do things like that for myself as a creative outlet and as a hobby. And I also have some other nerdy hobbies, collecting things, card games, video games, that sort of thing, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Illustrials, that sort of thing. So you do need something outside of content creation to take up your time. But going back to the passive income piece, actually, one of the things I did that I think was really smart was building Awesome Creator Academy, because that moved me into the digital product side. Now you can go with merch, and I'll show you um, my setup for merch here in a second, because that might be more relevant than going straight to digital products for all of you. So I'll share the screen here, and you'll get a taste of that. Um, so for a lot of you, merchandise is more practical than digital products, just because a lot of you will do entertainment content instead of doing education content. So more of you want to be influencers instead of thought leaders. Some of you want to be thought leaders. Um, but for a lot of you, depending on what your niche is, it'd be more practical for you to do something like print on demand with clothing, hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers, that sort of thing. So you could do this. Now I use Fourth Wall for this. I use .store for the domain. So I have a custom domain name, robertoblake.store, where people can buy this stuff. We're working on a new shirt for a Big Creator Energy. A lot of you have requested that. So we'll have a shirt and a hoodie out for a Big Creator Energy probably before the holidays. So we've got that going on. But also, I have Awesome Creator Academy, and this is where I have my membership group as well as my digital products. We started moving into online courses. We do have a free course you guys can take. If you go to the website, we have a free course here, and that is a pay what you want free course we call Creator Foundations. And it's for people starting from zero. Most of you, it's for you if you're under 1,000 or under 10,000 subscribers in YouTube or other platforms. And so it is free, as in it is a pay what you want, even if it's $0 course. So if you click on that, and you can enroll for free, and then you can put in your price, and it can be $0. Or if you just want to say thank you, it could be $2, it could be $5. It's pay what you can, really. In fact, we'll change that phrasing from pay what you want to pay what you can, because that's more accurate. But yeah, so we have stuff like that. But with Awesome Creator Academy, I have digital products, and these are digital downloads. It's not just your typical course stuff, but more importantly, I have the membership. Now, we did something recently. Now, this is a learning experience for you guys in pricing and stuff like that. So we did a membership website. Now, the difference between this and YouTube memberships and Patreon and Twitch, the difference between this is, with YouTube, you split 30%. With Patreon, it's 8 to 12%. And with Twitch, it's 50%. And I believe with TikTok, it's 40% for subscriptions and memberships and all that stuff. With Kajabi, I do have to pay for it, but I keep all of my money minus what my monthly fee is. So I did put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat again for you guys to get 50% off of Kajabi if you want. But let's say you did Kajabi and you did their $69 a month plan, right? So it's $70. Let's say you did the $70 a month. But let's say you were making $1,000 a month with your membership website. If you were doing YouTube and you made $1,000 a month, you have to give YouTube 30% of that. And if people signed up with Apple and iOS, you got to pay the Apple tax. So you're going to get another 30% there. So you're going to basically give up a lot of your money. You're going to end up with about half of your money. So after making $1,000, you actually would only keep about maybe 600, about 600, if you're lucky, 580 to $600 a month out of that money if you're making $1,000 a month. So that's why with YouTube, with its 30% and then Apple taking 30%, that's like not the best outcome for you. If you did courses on YouTube, it's convenient because you have access to an audience, but you give up 30% if you sell courses on YouTube, because YouTube has a course model now. And so you can sell courses directly on YouTube. A lot of you probably don't know that. I think it's still in beta, but I think you can get into it. But again, 30%, then the Apple tax. So you're only keeping relatively about 60% of your money, 55, 60% of your money. So it's not great. But that's because you don't want to pay anything up front. This isn't just a sales pitch for Kajabi because I'm partnered with them. This is just a breakdown of expenses and common sense that most YouTubers won't share. Most YouTubers, their business, they put anywhere from 50 to 60% of the money they make back into their business through expenses, fees, and that's before taxes. And that's before taxes. So most YouTubers' profit is only 30% of whatever it is they tell you they're making. Oh, I'm making $20,000 a month. Oh, I'm making $100,000 a year. Oh, I'm making $10,000 a month. Whatever a YouTuber says they're making, what they keep after expenses and taxes is typically only 30% of that. And most YouTubers don't keep a low cost of living. So what they retain to build wealth every year is probably less than 10% of their gross income. The average YouTuber only has probably banked 10 to 20% of their lifetime earnings if they're smart, assuming they're smart. So that means even if someone made $1 million from YouTube, they probably only have a net worth of 100,000 to $250,000 in net worth. Just so y'all know. Just so y'all know. So how does that get into things like memberships and whatnot? Well, I'm going to tell you. Depending on how you approach memberships and subscriptions can become passive income. With Awesome Creator Academy, we did something new recently. Before, all we had really for memberships was the Pro Group. I recently changed it to where we have the Pro Group, the VIP membership, and we have Basic. So I did an upgrade and I did a downgrade. One of the reasons I did a downgrade is because with the Pro Group, I do private live group coaching twice a week for office hours. But you get that in the Pro Group and you get that in the VIP membership. I created the Basic membership because the Basic membership is going to be passive income. Why is the Basic membership passive income? Because with the Basic membership, you get all of our digital products and all of our courses, past, present, and future, and you have access to those as long as you're a member. Just kind of like an Adobe subscription. You have that as long as you're a member. So that means that's things we already built. You get access to all of our training, all of our course material, all of our digital download templates, all of our swipe files. And I don't have to do any additional work because we've already done the work and we're keeping those things updated to keep the live members happy in the Pro Group and the VIP program. And also, I'm outsourcing some of that to my team. So that makes that true passive income. That means that, that $300 a year that's currently for the Basic membership. Later, that'll be for new members after 2025 or something. That'll be like, $400, $500 a year. That'll be all passive income. So let's say we had 100 members at the Basic level. So at 100 members at the Basic level, that would be $30,000 a year in truly passive income that I don't have to think about. Now, with the Pro Group members, we have to do the live streams, the 2 office hours a week. So that's not passive income, that's active income. But the people in the Basic membership, that's going to be purely passive income. So that's how we would do that. Now, for other things that are passive income, it'd be things like the $99 digital products. Now, for those of you who are not educators and thought leaders, you wouldn't be duplicating this method. But if you are an educator and thought leader, you can duplicate the same type of business and strategy that I did with Awesome Creator Academy if you're going to enter coaching. So for those of you who do different things, you teach something. Maybe you're teaching 3D modeling. Maybe actually CGI Nerd teaches 3D modeling and 3D animation. He could copy this. He's one of our students. He could copy this, Alejandro, right? Or maybe you're doing motion graphics and animation. You could basically copy this model and then that would work out for you. So you'd have a combination of digital products that are passive income. You'd have high ticket and low ticket. You'd also probably do group coaching and one-on-one coaching, and you could do 3 levels of that. And you could do a mix of subscription models that are passive and that are active, that are kind of a hybrid model. You could also do one-on-one coaching, which is active, not passive as well. And you could sell digital products and courses that could be truly passive. So those would be options for thought leaders that they could do. Um, so that would be the model that I showed here, where it says memberships and subscriptions, but you could also overlap this with digital products and services, but the products and the memberships have a passive component. Now, your UGC and sponsorships can have a passive component if you start licensing content to brands. Because if you license content to brands and you put a renewal clause instead of licensing to them in perpetuity, and there's a renewal clause for 6 months, 12 months, 90 days, or whatever, then you start getting residuals for the brand for your licensed content to them as a sponsor. This is easier to some degree for a thought leader, again, because you could license a course, for example, to a brand platform. Instead of selling a course yourself, you could license one and build one that's exclusive to them. You could co-brand that, or you can license them a webinar and you can do what's called an NIL deal, name, image, likeness. You can license them on an annual renewal, the ability to use your name, image, and likeness in promotional material, use your testimonials, use things like that. And they have to pay you to upkeep that license. So that could be residuals that result in passive income for you because you've already done that and they are just reusing those photos and videos and so on and so forth, or that course. And so you're getting residuals from that. So that's passive income there. So the thing is, there's even a way to get passive income out of a sponsorship if you do it correctly. If you do it correctly. The other way you get passive income out of a sponsorship is if you get in your contract the ability to monetize that video with ads after a certain point. Maybe the first 30 days you don't run ads on it, but after that time limit's up, or maybe it's the first 60 days or first 90 days, but after that time limit, you get to run ads on it. Well, all of a sudden, you're making passive income off of that video and you've been paid up front for it. So that would be another option. Another thing is with the brands, you can double dip and negotiate an affiliate deal or a pay for performance deal in addition to being paid up front for the sponsorship. So then you can still get commissions and then that can be passive income as well. So you can create opportunities there to double dip with the sponsors. And so all of a sudden, that's another way to do passive income. So you have the licensing, you have the affiliate commissions potential, you have a subscription model potential, you have digital products, and you have physical products. And these are 5 different ways besides ad revenue on top of it, which would be 6 paths of profit, the 6 paths of profit. So like you could have these multiple ways to get passive income. And the thing is, they could apply across multiple pieces of content in your portfolio. So you do have a really good opportunity to compound your business model here and to make money. So that would be what I would consider to be the practical method, but it does take time. This is not, you know, overnight. Second Entrepreneurship says, do you believe in creating passive income on YouTube with faceless cash cow channels like YouTube automation? I don't like the phrase YouTube automation because it really isn't automation. It's just outsourcing. Faceless channels on YouTube are not new. Faceless channels on YouTube have existed since 2005, 2006, 2008. Old school YouTube channels, a lot of people never showed their face anyway because they would lose their job potentially because having a personal brand of any kind back in those days was frowned upon by most employers. Today, most employers don't care as long as you're not disparaging the company in some way, or there's not going to be blowback on the company, or it's not political in some way, then you're usually fine. But faceless channels are not new. Faceless channels exist primarily so that people don't have conflicts between their job or personal life on YouTube. In terms of their so-called YouTube automation, that's just called hiring a team to do things like your editing and do things like your thumbnails. Or it could be that you become an owner and somebody does the voiceover and stuff like that. These channels have existed forever. The oldest faceless YouTube channels that were doing this kind of outsourcing are things like Watch Mojo and Top 10. So things like Watch Mojo, for example, or Take One, a lot of these things, Screen Rant. These are some of the oldest faceless channels on YouTube. Things like Cinema Sins, things like Epic Movie Trailer or Honest Movie Trailers. I'm sorry, yeah, Honest Movie Trailers. These are like the original faceless YouTube channels. They can all be done by outsourcing talent, using a consistent voice changer to have the same voice. Somebody else writes the scripts for these. Somebody else does the editing for these. Somebody does the voice performance. The owners just own it and give the directions. It's just a company. So, like, there's nothing to believe in. It's a reality. It's just another business. I just think that YouTube automation is a branding play. It's not really automated. So that's just saying, oh, we're doing YouTube purely as a business and we're doing it with a certain format and it's faceless. That's nothing new. That's existed since the earliest days of YouTube. Ken Lang says, do you have to trademark terms or logos for print on demand merch? You don't have to, but it is recommended. Yeah, Clover Tax says, yes, people in general tell you the gross amount of income, not the net amount of income that's coming. Yeah. The net amount of income generously ends up being 50 to 60% in a lot of cases, but for most creators, it's not. It's closer to 30. But there's net and then there's net after taxes. So there is that. You could argue and call that take home pay. Michael Pepper Tech. Good to see you, man. Roberto, thanks for your advice. I recently became monetized and I credit your suggestions with my thumbnails on the gained hours and views. Yeah, gaining those watch hours and views and subscribers is a big deal. So yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that, Mike. Good to see that you're monetized and you're ready to earn. That's what we're talking about. Another monetization Monday. Glad to be back doing these, to be honest with you. Tech and entrepreneurship. What about the ones that use AI tools? I don't know personally of any very successful ones that are using only AI tools. You can make an argument for using AI for aspects of the thumbnails. I have no issue with that. I'm not a purist. I don't care. Viewers click on the thumbnails they care about. So I don't care if someone's using AI art for thumbnails. YouTube does require disclosure if you're using it for the video content in certain cases. But I don't particularly, it doesn't bother me. But I just haven't seen wildly successful channels that use solely AI tools. I believe the best examples of faceless channels are channels like Magnates Media and How Money Works and Moon and Sunny V2. Those are probably the best examples of faceless YouTube channels. I don't think you're going to see a million subscribed YouTube channel that's using nothing but AI. Tony Locke says, my thumbnails are improving, but what would you suggest? So Tony Locke, a lot of the biggest YouTubers, as you'll see, their thumbnails rely on concepts and on photography rather than just stock images. They will do a couple of things. Either they'll pose for the thumbnails or they will find a body double and find that as a stock photo or even generate it as AI. And then they'll have a digital artist Photoshop their head onto the body for the thumbnail. That is what Mr. Beast and company do. They had a job description where they actually specifically were requesting an AI thumbnail artist, but people started raking them over the coals for it on Twitter and Reddit. So they changed the title of the job description, but it basically still read the same. But that kind of says that that's how they do it. And there's a lot of anti AI sentiment where people were razzing them for that, in addition to all the other things they're getting criticized for. So that became a problem for them. But yeah, another thing you can do, Tony, and anybody else watching, is if you are looking for inspiration for thumbnails and you want to see thumbnails that do very well and get a lot of views in YouTube, use our sponsor, oneof10.com. So we have a link to them in the description, I believe. And so oneof10.com, who is one of our sponsors, is a way for you to find outlier videos that are getting views successfully on YouTube. And you can actually collect thumbnails specifically that are like getting views and put together kind of a little library for yourself of inspiration. Now, you're not supposed to copy these thumbnails outright, but it will show you the standards of your audience and what they will say yes to and what they like the most and what they want to click on. So for that, we definitely recommend you check out one of 10 linked in the description. I'll see what I can do about pasting the link here in the chat for any of you watching live, but it should be in the description. And if you use code Roberto, they'll give you 50% off. If you use code AWESOME, then you can get a 1 month free trial. So all of that should be in the description here on YouTube. I will paste it in the chat since some of you are watching on other platforms, but it'll be in the description on YouTube. And you should be able to get that. And if we're a little laggy, it's because I'm opening up my YouTube dashboard to see if, just to make sure we have that code for you. But yeah, yeah, for thumbnails, you want to see what people are already responding to. You want to make something that people are already saying yes to, essentially. So that's kind of the big key to all of it. The big key is, what are people already saying yes to? What is the standard that you're competing with? And so you want to be able to make sure that you're within that standard. If you're not, then people are going to click on something else. That's really what it comes down to. Huh. The description does not have the links that's supposed to. Okay, we'll fix that real quick. Or we'll try to. Try to see what we can do about updating that description for all of you. Might have been easier if I made a preset for those links. But, we'll do what we can here. Which passive income options? I'll answer that question here in a minute. That's a really good question. Just give me a second. Bear with me, everybody. I bet you that the lag is more my browser memory because I left these browsers open so long instead of like shutting down the computer completely and restarting. But it is what it is. Which passive income ideas would you suggest for a game review channel? So, if you're a game review channel, then your biggest problem really is that you're not using your own IP. So that's your biggest problem. if you're not using your own IP, then your best options are finding some way to do UGC and licensing content to other brands. The other thing is if you're a gamer in a way that the Clash Royale gamers are, then the game might have an in-store purchase thing. So usually they call that a creator code or a gamer code. And so if you have a creator code or gamer code, it works similar to affiliate marketing. So you could make money that way. So with the affiliate marketing um, from the game, from the in-game purchases, if you're a gamer, that could work, but that's for something like again, like games in the Supercell ecosystem, they do that for their creators. So that might be an angle. If you have the YouTube community tab, you might want to recommend electronics that are gamers paradise stuff like, you know, monitors, LEDs, um, setups for the gaming chair, stuff like that. You'd use the Amazon affiliate program and then you try to leverage those things. So that'd be an affiliate marketing option for gamers between that and the creator code stuff. Mostly your passive income is probably going to come down to AdSense revenue from your back catalog. And the main reason for that is because again, your biggest problem as a gaming channel is you do not own the IP. And because you don't own the IP, making merch is going to be really hard for you because you can't use their characters. You cannot use their intellectual property because you don't own the rights to it. So gamers are kind of screwed when it comes to passive income because you're a gamer, you can't really sell a course. So you're kind of out on that one, right? So you can't sell a course. Merchandise is hard because no one really cares about your logo. So, like, merchandise is hard if you're a gamer. You could make merchandise off of slang and off of memes that relate to the game without it infringing on the IP if you just use common things, but then anybody can duplicate that. So, that's another issue for you. So, you kind of in trouble there. The other thing is, as far as that goes, the other problem, as best as I can tell and remember, and I've coached a lot of gamers. Like I said, I coached a lot of gamers in the Supercell ecosystem, for example. Um, your other real issue comes down to the fact that you don't have any real pathway to any kind of digital products, and then there's not really a good reason to do a private membership for a gamer as far as your own website. However, there is another option, in terms of doing something like a Patreon and people just supporting you because they want to and because maybe they have access to you. And maybe if they pay for a higher tier membership in YouTube channel memberships or in Patreon, maybe they can game with you sometime or get invited to your gaming clan. So then that would make sense. But other than that, you don't have a lot of really good options to entice someone when it comes to passive income as a gaming channel. So you're very limited in the options in the way that I described. So that would be your main problem, which is why if you are doing a gaming channel, you might consider doing a second channel that has nothing to do with gaming ever in a more profitable niche that has more options for you. Um, that is often what I recommend when gamers realize how hard it is for them to make real money compared to other people is okay, um, just make a channel in a different niche. So that's typically what my advice comes down to for gamers is that you have to accept the limitations that come with your niche and the limitations that come with having a younger audience that doesn't like to spend money and doesn't have a lot of money to spend, doesn't have a lot of disposable income compared to other groups. So, I mean, as harsh as it sounds to say, as a gamer, you kind of have to take your lumps a little bit when it comes to the limitations of how you can monetize content. Because, I mean, it is what it is. The biggest problem, as far as I'm concerned, is really just that you do not own any of the intellectual property. And that becomes the major bottleneck, so to speak, on your ability to earn. Your ability to earn is mostly limited by that particular problem. Because if you owned everything, then it'd be different. So Natasha is asking, well, actually, no, sorry. Alex Carmine is asking, what do you think if your channel creates its own IP mostly written? I'm thinking sign an email list for free video or something, or leading maybe to a course and create the same style IP. Okay, so this is interesting. If you own all the IP, but I don't think it sounds like what you're doing is education, but if you own all the IP, then things get a little different. If you own all the IP, then at least a couple of options present itself if you own all the IP. Because if you own all the intellectual property, then yes, it's more viable to do a few other things. I don't think a free video is what entices people to the email list, though. Um, I think that when it comes to the email list, it's either that people want to join for the content of the list itself, or they want to join because you did have some kind of free offer that makes sense that's aligned to that audience. So in the chat, by the way, I dropped the link to one of 10. And again, the promo codes for that are code Roberto gets you 50% off, and code awesome gets you 1 free month trial. So make sure you guys are checking that out. But yeah, generally speaking, if you own all the IP, and it just depends on whether you're going the influencer route or the thought leader route, meaning entertainer versus educator. It depends on what your options are. If you go the educator route, there are much more options. It doesn't mean there's no options for influencers. It's just there's not a lot for gamers. But if you're a lifestyle channel, there's a lot of options for an entertainer who's a lifestyle channel. There's a lot of options for an entertainer that's a comedy channel. There's a lot of options because the big problem for anime channels, TV show and movie channels, and gaming channels and reaction channels is you don't own any of the IP. You don't own anything. You're completely dependent on someone else. That's your biggest problem with some of your limitations. It is good because you get views, because then you don't have to make people care about you specifically. They care about the IP already. So you have a built-in audience, which means you get to earn AdSense revenue. So you get passive income that way. You get to get sponsorships, big money up front. And you also can probably get support from donations and super chats and channel members and Patreon, but then that's it. In terms of the big swings for passive income, it doesn't exist as much when you rely on someone else's intellectual property. When you own everything, then you have more options. So that's really what it comes down to. So for gamers, the big thing is you're stuck with active income, fan support through donations, streaming. But again, it's not all bad. It's just that you have to make more use of those things. And the other difference is, unlike education channels, you guys typically get more views than education channels. So even though you make less on ad revenue and you have less options for passive income, you do get to often get significant brand deals, and you also get to potentially make a lot of AdSense if you are getting views. So, but you are more beholden to YouTube than someone who's a thought leader and does education content. Example being that I get to build an off-platform website, and I get to do affiliate links for software and do other things, do speaking engagements. That's an option that I get. And I also get digital products and course stuff because, again, I'm doing education based things, I'm doing skill based things. It'd be the same if you were teaching a foreign language, if you're teaching animation, if you're teaching art and drawing, if you, to some degree, if you did it right, if you're teaching music, if you're teaching photography, you get all these options. If you are teaching a trade, whether it's blue collar, white collar, you're teaching a trade or you're teaching a high income skill, then there's a lot of money in that. And there's a lot of ways to make that money. And there's ways to make it actively and passively and to make monthly recurring revenue from it. When you're purely an entertainer, though, that gets to be a little harder if you are using someone else's intellectual property. If you're an entertainer and you're a lifestyle brand or a comedian, then things change and you're able to monetize a lot more and have passive and active income opportunities that can be much better because you own all your intellectual property and you can trademark things and everything is yours. So that would be the ideal situation. So a good example of that would be why am I spacing? Andrew Schultz with Flagrant and Brilliant Idiots, and then he gets to do his comedy show and tours. He got to launch his own comedy special. They get to do all kinds of things, and they get to license his name, image, and likeness to things in addition to long-term brand deals. There's a lot they get to do because they own everything. Tech YouTuber has unlimited potential. Tech YouTuber, you can be making bank on the Amazon affiliate program, multiple affiliate programs. You could go directly with Amazon Creator Hub and make money that way. You tech YouTubers, there are things where you could get into depending on the tech you cover. You could get into courses depending on the tech you cover. So there is quite a bit of opportunity for passive income for tech YouTubers. Um, there's licensing deals and co-branding deals on physical products. Marquez Brownlee did co-branding of physical products with um, Ridge, for example. He did those with Ridge. Peter McKinnon did it with Polar Pro for his ND filters and Nomadic for his backpacks. Then he also did physical products with Pirate Pete and his everyday carry stuff. So there's a lot of opportunity on affiliate marketing, co-branding, and manufacturing physical products with brands. Linus and Marquez have done very well with their merchandise. Linus has done very well with physical products, merchandise, and then physical products like their screwdriver, the Linus Tech Tips, the LTT screwdriver. They launched their own event. They even launched their own platform, Floatplane, and so they make residual income by running that service and hosting other content creators on a membership website. You have the creators who got together and did Nebula, you know, which I'll probably end up never being a part of because, it is a little bit more of a close knit group of friends. It's like you're in or you're not. I know a bunch of people over there, but it's like I'm not one of the cool kids. So it's things like that. There's a lot of different opportunities depending on your niche. If you're a lifestyle influencer, female lifestyle influencers, there's so much money to be made with journals and planners and low content things there, but also it can branch out into other things, makeup palettes, other self-care items, co-branded with other companies in terms of that licensing for name, image, likeness. So NIL deals, UGC, all kinds of things that could happen there. Amazon influencer is fantastic for lifestyle influencers. Huge money to be made in that market. So that's how I tend to think about these things is what's the opportunity that exists to expand on this idea and what could you do with it. So with thought leader stuff, it's coaching, community, courses, cohorts. That's typically how it would work, right? And there's a lot of ways to make money. Ultimately, promotion is very important. It's not just to having a product, it's your publishing schedule, your promotion, and then you do have to figure out what the profit margin on things are. There's a lot of ways to diversify brand deals. We've talked about that on Monetization Mondays before in terms of the fact that, yes, you can get paid for the content, licensing, ambassadorship, and commission. So you can diversify even within a specific income stream. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. And then you could do affiliate marketing like me. I mean, I've done these partnerships and I have case studies, and it's done very well for me over the years. So there's a lot of opportunities with digital products as well. And that's why I'm leaning more into digital products. A lot of you know that with Awesome Creator Academy, I've leaned mostly into the coaching, and the membership has been my flagship thing. And I've had products like the YouTube Starter Kit and the Brand Deal Starter Kit. We now have the Creator Foundations course. We're finishing up the Brand Deal Secrets course. We're releasing our core training, and we're also going to do a YouTube strategy guide course. And those will be releasing. If they don't release later this year, then it'll be in Q1. And so those are going to be probably our big profit center. It might be able to double the revenue of the academy by the time we get those things out there. But one of the main things right now is you can get the free Creator Foundations course, like you said, and that's for people like under 10,000 in any of their platforms. That one is killer, and it's probably one of the best free courses because I made it with the goal of really changing the bar for like what courses are, because this one is a free course that's better than most of the 5.99 courses that you'll find out there. So Jesse Chaplin says, clarifying question. My primary channel is magician related, playing card reviews, magic performance tutorials. So instead of talking about upgrade tech, there it should be another channel. Yes, like the people watching that do not necessarily care about your camera gear and setup and would be alienated by that content. If you wanted to talk about tech and things like that, I would either use another channel or I would use another platform. Maybe use Instagram or TikTok or X, but or you could do another YouTube channel. But aside from members only content, your primary audience, like if I'm coming to you for playing card tutorials and close up magic and stuff like that, I really don't care about your camera stuff. If I was coming to you for that, if I'm not already a camera guy, it would alienate the audience, fragment the audience. It doesn't make sense. This is also the reason why a lot of you may have noticed that if you're doing something a particular niche, people don't care about your YouTube channel updates or your YouTube milestone updates if you're not unboxing a play button. If you're not unboxing a silver or gold play button, milestone updates, you probably want to do that in your community tab or in your members only content. Or during a live stream, if you really want to do it during a live stream because those are the people who care about you the most. But it's probably not going to be successful. You're going to feel bad. You're going to post a video. Almost no one's going to watch it. You're going to feel bad. Normally, that's just how it goes. Hey, what's up, Abaddon? Good to see you. We got Home Rapid Repair Larry in the house. So we've got Doug Houston over in the moderator side. Appreciate you. Probably give a couple of more people mod credentials here. Double Pulse says gaming channels can bridge or shift into a tech channel if you cover products that are used for gaming. Example is something like Steam Deck, gaming laptops, tablets. So yeah, you can. I mean, Kyle from Bitwit does that. Gamers Nexus kind of does that. There are channels who can do that successfully. But again, most gaming channels, they don't want to do that. And most of them don't have or can't afford a lot of heavy tech. Most gaming channels are younger people. They're trying to do it on a budget. That's really, to be frank, a lot of people get into the gaming content. I know people don't like me saying this. A lot of people get into the gaming content because it is a low barrier to entry and it is cheap to do very well. It's cheap to do it well. So they can, but that's why it feels saturated. But it's not that saturated, not with quality content. It's saturated with content that anybody watching could make. That's where the appeal and the allure of it really comes from. something similar happens with vlogging, because between gaming and vlogging, if you have a console, if you have a console and even a phone that you can use as a webcam, or a $50 or $60 webcam, you can be a gaming channel now. You can spend like 50 to $100 on a video capture card, have a console, spend like less than $100 on a webcam, and oh my God, you're a gaming creator. You know, buy $100 or less microphone. Oh my God, you're a gaming creator. A lot of people don't even do that. Vlogging, oh, you get a $20 microphone and you get your smartphone and you get a $20 handle, and oh my God, you're a vlogger. So because there's a less than $300 barrier to entry, gaming and vlogging feel saturated, but they're not. They're saturated with a lot of low hanging fruit, low effort content, but not competitive content. Nothing is saturated with competitive content for the most part. To make an argument for gaming at an upper echelon, but the thing is, that's only if you're talking about gaming in a broad sense. But there's a very small, thin amount of first-person shooter gamers. I would argue that the only top tier things in gaming that are saturated probably be Roblox, Minecraft, and maybe a couple of first-person shooters individually, Call of Duty, and maybe Call of Duty, Black Ops, Warzone. There are specific games that have enough competitive creators in them, but not every game, and not gaming as a whole. It's a lot of low effort content that is waiting to be disrupted. It's not a lot of stuff that people want to subscribe to and watch consistently. So, gaming is competitive, but not saturated with quality. Not saturated with quality. Not in every vertical of gaming. Problem is, a lot of people want to make content and compete with their favorite YouTuber they watched growing up, and that's the whole problem with the gaming niche. So that's the problem with the gaming niche. It is because it is the thing that mostly should be a hobby that people try to do more in, but are not necessarily good enough at, or don't have the ability to invest into. So that would be the issue for gaming channels. Someone could make a successful gaming channel. It's just that they wouldn't be passionate about the thing that would make for a successful gaming channel would most likely not work for someone who's passionate about gaming. It would be somebody who's very smart, but they would either fall out of love with gaming doing it, or they would have never been in love with it per se to begin with, or unless they were just someone in love with it who is also capable of being a competitive and top tier gamer. So Sarah Dawn has a question. I'm in an industry where where in perpetuity contracts are very common. Any suggestions on how I politely push back against this without the companies choosing to go with someone else instead? If it's very prevalent, then you have to really offer overwhelming, tremendous value and become a commodity if you want to push back against a common practice, or you'll have to make it worth their while by not doing the in perpetuity, but taking less money up front. Those are really your only options. You have to be so competitive and so high quality that they'll meet your demands, or you have to lower your demands and trade getting less money up front to not have to do an in perpetuity deal. So SSP Diving says, okay, this is part 1 of 2. My channel is growing by reviewing and investigating marine tragedies. I use websites, PDFs, and video clips in lecture style videos. I own a ton of POV dive footage, and I'm a wealth of knowledge. Good start. I made a Patreon to access my dive footage and behind the scenes footage from my working dives, personal posts. Is this the wrong route for monetizing? My dive footage on YouTube never gained traction. So it's all about marketing, because dive footage, if you're doing this whole thing on these marine tragedies and tragedies at sea, and we've seen your content before, we've reviewed your content before. The thing that I would say is you should market it for these people as your own dives and close calls or strange underwater encounters. Because if you're just saying, hey, here's my personal dive footage, here's my working dives, these are people who are watching something that's adrenaline and anxiety inducing and they want to see what happens and everything like that. If you're not marketing these as, hey, these are my near misses, hey, these are my close calls underwater, or the strangest things I've seen on a dive. If it's just, hey, here's my dive videos, there's not really a intrinsic pull to that. There's nothing spectacle there. There's not something that's really enticing. So your Patreon needs to be marketed as something more enticing. And when you start doing these personal dives, maybe you need to go ahead and, yeah, you have the footage, but you need to have some voiceover that can make it more interesting and more intriguing over the voiceover instead of just watching dive footage from you. So that's the thing. You need to market it in a way. And so yeah, you said you were making it more come dive with me footage because it was fun, but it never grew. Exactly. Now, I'm not necessarily for posting this on the main channel. Like I said, post it on the Patreon, get people to subscribe, but you market it and maybe you tease it in some videos of, hey, if you want to see some of my own um, like close encounters or the weirdest things I've ever seen on my own dives, you got to check out the Patreon. We have footage you can't see anywhere else. We have a few of my own close calls here, some of my weirdest things I've ever seen underwater, some of my close encounters, and more. And then also you could say, and for any of you interested in getting into diving, I've got more there. And so those are things that would more entice the kind of person. Because, like I said, it's about your type of person, right? Your membership content, your Patreon content. Think about it. Your thing with these marine tragedies, these are adrenaline junkies. These are people looking for spectacle. They're looking for close calls. They're looking for weird stuff. If the Patreon is just like, hey, come dive with me, then that's not appealing to them. You need something that entices them more. Yep. So break down the underwater stuff and voiceover on that dive footage, but market it differently. Market it as more of the same, but it's your experiences, and that might be um a better fit. You said turns out folks like hearing you break down underwater stuff. Yeah, so lean into that. Lean into that. You're getting your first ad sets check later this month. Congratulations. Woo. Thinking of setting up a consult with you because I want to set this up correctly. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, a series of videos for divers looking to improve skills and gain a second income. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that could work for you. That's something to explore. That is definitely something worth trying. Yeah. Let's see here, just making sure I'm not missing any other super chats. No, that was it for the super chat so far. So yeah, um, for a lot of you, it depends on whether you're doing education or influencer content. For the membership stuff, what I would suggest for a lot of you, for the membership stuff, is if you're an influencer or making entertainment content, make a back catalog of exclusive content and maybe make some kind of series or mini series and keep doing those a couple of times a year that people are going to want to join that membership and get that exclusive content and also just support you in general. And that would be something that could generate more revenue and then can become kind of passive. The other thing you can do is if you guys are like, oh, I'd like to start vlogging, but my audience never watches those, then make that members only content. And then your diehard fans can support you. And then you don't feel bad about posting something and then not getting views. Because now if you post as members only, you're posting it and people are paying for it. So, that can help. Grape Tea News, good to see you. Appreciate it. Yes, please smash the like button on the video. Smash that like button for the algorithm. So yeah. So those would be some of the things. So let's open up some more Q. Oops. That's most of what I wanted to cover in terms of passive income. We talked a bit about the affiliate marketing side. We talked about subscriptions and memberships. We talked about the licensing with brands and doing that and trying to get out of the in perpetuity licensing if you can manage it. We talked about digital products. We talked about physical products as well and doing the merchandise thing. And then, of course, another passive income is just evergreen videos that make AdSense forever. Just the evergreen videos that make AdSense forever. That's another form of passive income. Double Post says, plan to make a lot of my legacy videos from vlogs and web series for members only because of what you said. My channel really evolved and shifted over the years. Yeah. Like content that no longer represents you, I'm good with instead of deleting that stuff, just making it members only and letting it be for the hardcore fans. So, yeah. So I would be absolutely good with that. I think it makes perfect sense to go much more in that direction. So, totally fine with that. I can answer a few more questions. We're about 90 minutes in. We're probably not going to do a 3 hour stream tonight. It's getting late. I want to try to wake up early tomorrow. I've got to still release a podcast episode for tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, the audio podcast is back. So make sure you're checking that out. It's in Spotify, and Apple and everywhere podcast. You can find it either by putting in Roberto Blake podcast, or you can type in create something awesome today podcast and you'll find it. We did an amazing interview with the CEO of Licked about music licensing, fair use, copyright, and content ID. He was a wealth of knowledge. So that was our interview with Paul Sampson. I did an interview with Marissa Hill from Shade TV, good friend of mine, content creator, newly minted 100,000 subscriber content creator in the sneaker niche. She is the leading female in that niche. So she is killing it up out of NYC. We even talk about how she did a brand deal with, I think it was it Skechers? Or no, it was K Swiss at 5,000 subscribers. So when she was at 5,000 subscribers, she did a brand deal with K Swiss during the pandemic. So that was dope. So yeah, she is a pandemic creator and she just got her silver play button. So really dope. So we did that. We've got more interviews coming out. We got an interview with Jay Klaus coming out next week. We've got Justin Moore from Creator Wizard, good friends of mine. So we've got both of them coming up in terms of podcast interviews. They've already been recorded. They've already been edited. They just need final stuff. I've met Latasha James, I believe. We met at a creator event, but we have not done a collaboration or an interview. Totally open to it though. If you want to let her know, hey, Roberto would love to interview you, collab with you, you guys can let her know. So yeah. And yeah, Marissa did a sneaker deal with only 5K subs, and we talk all about how and why that happened. And yeah, big creator energy, big creator energy. That's how that happened. So yeah, so we're able to do a lot with that. So the podcast is back. That's a big announcement for me. Podcast is back. Yeah. If you guys been checking out Instagram, over on my Instagram, I have in my Instagram highlights, I did a billboard with Kajabi in Times Square. The billboard campaign's over. I am probably gonna do my own version of an update video because I'm going to announce, uh, because most people don't know about it, I'm gonna announce the free course on the YouTube channel officially. And when I do that, I'll do the update video and talk about the fact that I did the Kajabi billboard and how all that worked out for me, and what a great partnership that was, and seeing my billboard in Times Square. So we got some video footage of that. We did some vlog like video footage of that, and I got some photos of it. I got some selfies of it. It was dope. I'm going to be posting about it on my Instagram as well. And if you guys haven't been keeping up, I've been posting more motivational stuff to my Instagram, trying to get creators in the right mindset, so to speak. So that's been something that I've been doing that I'm happy with. We grew to 100,000 subscribers in Twitter. So my goal there, I'm still posting great quality stuff there, but my goal there is complete. We're getting video monetization in Twitter soon, so I'm gonna obviously keep posting and reposting and streaming there because I'm gonna make money there. So we have all that going on, but the new goals are 100K on the email list, get 10,000 of you into the free Creator Foundations course. I want 10,000 people into the free Creator Foundations course. So that's something new that we're trying to do. I'd like to get to 100,000 Instagram, 100,000 LinkedIn. So we'll have 100,000 Twitter. Already did that. Check that box. Well over 100,000 YouTube. So next it's Instagram and LinkedIn. And so, and obviously we want 100,000 people on the newsletter as well. And we'd love to see 10,000 people taking the Creator Foundations course. And that one is a free pay what you can style course. Right now, I think that course has 4 or 5 hours of content. And again, like I said, it's really geared toward creators that are under 10,000. If you're over 10,000, there might still be really good information, honestly, but we're mostly gearing it toward beginners. Because one of the things that people said was that, hey, Awesome Creator Academy, the offerings are great, everything's great, but we don't feel you have as much stuff for beginners to get started. You only seem to want to work with people who are already monetized. What about the rest of us? I'm like, I do all this free content in YouTube. It's like, yeah, but your own platform doesn't have that. So we made something on my platform that gives people a starting point and is free. So we wanted to do that. Yeah, podcast is back. All of you definitely go listen to the podcast. There are across all platforms right now, there are 357 of you watching. So for one thing, there need to be 357 likes on this video right now on YouTube. And I know that like only 150 of you are watching on YouTube, I think, right now, out of the 350, because we're on 5 platforms right now. So that's dope. But if you're on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button. We need to get those likes up. The other thing is listen to the podcast. Please, please, please listen to the podcast. Leave a review on Apple and on Spotify if you can. But if you're going to pick between Apple and Spotify, please leave a review on Apple. We really need some recent reviews on Apple for the podcast. We have over 150 5-star reviews on Apple. We really want to run those numbers up in terms of 5-star reviews and ratings. We want to get to 500. We know we're not going to get there before the end of the year. We know it's been a while since we've uploaded to the podcast, but we're trying to actually upload to the podcast every week going forward, usually on Tuesday or on Thursday or on both if we can pull it off. But yeah, podcast episodes Tuesday and or Thursday. So that's the goal going forward. And if you can leave a 5-star review in Apple, that would be fantastic for us. We love seeing that. It really does help us out with the algorithm over there. We'd love to become one of the top 10 podcasts for creators. We'd love to have that coveted place right alongside Jay Klaus, Chris Doe, Pat Flynn, and all of our other friends. So we really want that to happen for the podcast. What else are we working on? So we got the free course podcast, social media goals. Oh yeah, second book is coming next year. Second book is coming. 28,000 words in. Second book is coming. This one is focused on creator monetization and 15 specific ways creators can make money with a dedicated chapter, a full dedicated chapter to each way that creators can make money. So that's going to be really powerful, really compelling. So I think you guys are going to like that. We have an appendix again. A lot of you complimented my first book having its appendix and how helpful that was. So we have that. And then what else have we got going on? So we have that going on, and trying to remember what else. With the book, we also have a glossary of terms A through Z that every content creator should know is in the book. So that's going to make the book even easier for people to read. Yes, it pads the numbers a little bit in terms of pages, but it's also going to make the book easier for people to read, um, and to digest. So that's something that we're, very happy about with the second book. You can obviously buy the first book right now, Create Something Awesome: How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. So you can order that right now. Link is in the description, or you can go to robertoblake.com and you can find it there, which will just link you to Amazon anyway. So we have that. What else is going on with me these days? We're going to be doing more content on the YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and film. So we're going to try and finish out the year strong. We're going to be trying to do these live streams for you more often. But then I'm also going to be uploading regular videos again. We're going to be doing the content that I think matters to you guys as content creators. I'm already fully aware that my niche, almost no creator in my niche is pulling a ton of views when it comes to really dense, very practical information. Even my friends with over 1 million subscribers that are helping content creators. Chris Do and his team from the future make some of the best quality content there is on the entire internet. Not always getting the most views, though, even with 2 million subscribers. My friend Sean Cannell, 3 million subscribers. My friends at vidIQ, 2 million subscribers. Not really pulling the most views per upload, but they keep uploading what they believe is the best education content they can. I want to do that too, and I'm not going to worry about the views. We will be going back to multiple videos from me a week on the things I think creators should know and that they don't. There's a video I have coming out that basically breaks down, I think, 5 or 6 things that I wish I knew before I was a full-time content creator. And it's not your regular stuff. It's literally, I start out in that video with talking about getting your own health insurance. Then the next topic I think is taxes. Then I think it's like, consistency, why I wish I had hired people instead of doing everything myself. Like all this stuff that is really important and practical if you become a full-time creator to know, instead of the whole always growth, everything always growth. I know that growth is important, but we need to talk about some other aspects of this creator journey. I'm going to be talking about what creators should do if they have a full-time job, how they can be more consistent at this if they have a full-time job, what it's like to be a solo creator and do everything yourself. That's some videos that I want to make. There are some videos that I want to make about tools, and I want to make some videos about the tech and the setup and the camera gear, the lights, the audio. I want to do that stuff because I don't think there is enough practical information outside of just camera channels for that for content creators. So, I want to address those things. I want to make, again, what I think is lacking in terms of some of the best free content that I can make. And I think that it probably won't get the most views, but it doesn't bother me. It's better to upload it and than not. And it's better for people who do consume it to get the information. And if people want to judge it or not think that the information is accurate because the information itself didn't get a crap ton of views, I'm kind of over it because I already know what would get the most views long term, not short term, long term. Long term, what would get the most views on the channel is if I just do more video editing tutorials. Like my green screen tutorial is the #1 ranked green screen. Actually, I have a video coming out about that, how to rank #1 on YouTube and Google. But my green screen tutorial is the #1 Adobe Premiere ranked green screen tutorial on YouTube right now. And getting 400, 500 views a day doesn't sound like a lot, but it's over 200,000 views for a reason. And it didn't get to even 1,500 views until 90 days after I uploaded it. If I wanted to always get the most views for upload, it'd be the most views per upload per year on a piece of content that would rank #1 in search for a specific thing. And that's all I would do if I wanted the most views, because those type of videos will get me 100,000 views in a year worth of upload, and they'll get me a high RPM. They'll get me a decent RPM per upload. If I were just optimizing for, hey, what would get Roberto the most views on YouTube and make Roberto the most ad revenue on YouTube? I would only make tutorial videos 1 to 2 times a week on ad revenue, not including sponsorships. That'd probably make me about 100 grand a year on ad revenue because those videos will all get 100 to 200,000 views in a year from search because nobody would be competing with me on those because my strategy would be to make new and better made videos for the best viewed tutorials that are outdated by about 3 to 4 years and just refresh off of those. And so I'd have no competition for a new relevant thing. YouTube would know exactly who to serve those videos to. And then I would optimize it for the ad revenue side, which I know how to do. And then I would just make, about $1,000 per upload on that, optimize around 100 videos a year, do 100,000 videos a year. And then just like if I were only trying to make what would make the most sense for me, that's probably the direction I would go in. I don't want to do that. One, because that's not as interesting to me. I feel like if I did that, it would burn me out a little bit. I also don't think it is the thing that serves my mission the most of helping more creators go full time. It would help creators become better editors, which is part of that mission. It would make them more efficient with their time and their tools, but it would not help creators with strategy. It would not help them with building systems. It would not help them with monetizing. And those would be important factors in someone becoming a full time creator. So just making tutorials that make me money is not the right thing to do for the audience, in my opinion. Um, so that's why that's not the right move for me personally. So again, I'm just willing to be judged a little bit more and you know let the chips fall where they may, but I want to make what I think is my best content. But shout out again to one of 10, our sponsor. And if you use code Roberto at checkout, like I said, you get 50% off of that. And if you use code awesome, you get a cool free trial. So that is in the description. And I also posted that into the live chat for all of you. So make sure you're checking that out. And for those of you who are educators and you're interested in Kajabi, you can check out our link in the description. Shout out to our friends at Kajabi. Also appreciate you guys putting me on a billboard. Thank you, Kajabi. But if you want to check out Kajabi, we have a link for that in the description. But if you're on the live chat right now and it's still November 11th, or you're watching the replay on November 11th, that's not midnight yet, you can get 50% off Kajabi for the year. That's a one-time deal right now. And we just dropped that link for you as well. So if you've been thinking about making a course, you've been thinking about making a membership group that you own, you've been thinking about doing a cohort, you've been thinking about doing coaching calls, you want to get Kajabi with our link in the description. Or if you're in the live chat right now, you want to get the 50% off deal because tonight's the last night you can get it. So make sure you're checking that out. And we posted that in the chat for you so that you can get access to that. So that should be clickable for you. Make sure you check that out. I'm also going to post that over on x.com, formerly Twitter, again, for anybody who missed it so they can try and sign up right now and make that deal. Yep. Double Pulse says the channel I'm currently running will be a forever experiment, which I'm okay with currently. Yep. Nah, nothing wrong with that. Is what it is. Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, Unless you guys got questions, I mean, we can do some Q&A, but I think I've covered most of the things that I want to. Like I said, make sure you're checking out our free course in the description. I think we have a link to that. If not, check out Awesome Creator Academy. I do believe we have the free course in the description. If not, I'll just grab a link for it. Want to see more of you in our Creator Foundations course. So let me just drop you a link for that in the chat. Do I still recommend TubeBuddy? I do think its A/B testing is currently better than YouTube's A/B testing, and it can currently do A/B testing for titles. Um, in general, most of you will never really master keyword strategy. There's a methodology for keyword strategy going into 2025. TubeBuddy is not, in my opinion, nor is vidIQ going to make someone good at SEO if they still believe that tags are what SEO in YouTube is, because YouTube is much more evolved than it was years ago. TubeBuddy and vidIQ are still good tools, but people are thinking of them wrong because they've been attached to this old branding from 2016. There's a way to use them. I actually did a live stream about this already. There's a way to use them properly, and most people aren't using them properly. So yeah, I still recommend TubeBuddy for a lot of things. If you want to find and replace 100 links across 100 videos, it does it in 5 minutes. I did it the other day when I had to update some affiliate links. Great reason to use that tool. If you're making money, it's fantastic. The free version is great for the rest of you. So you can use my link in the description and you can get the free version. There's a cheap version for small creators. They have a discount for that. If you use Roberto's Buddy, you get 20% off any plan. So you can save with me. The best version of using it is the A/B title and thumbnail testing, because YouTube doesn't let you A/B test titles, only thumbnails. So that's a really good use case for it. The thumbnail testing on TubeBuddy lets you see click-through rates if you want to optimize for that instead of just watch time, or it lets you optimize around retention or almost any other metric you want. So it's good for that. It's good for comparing which thumbnails got a higher click-through rate using text or no text, this facial expression versus that facial expression. So it's good for that. So there are still really good optimization features in the advanced versions of TubeBuddy. So I would recommend it for those reasons. But if you're just trying to figure out, oh my God, how am I going to get more views using tags? That's not really what the tool is for. There's reasons you vidIQ. There are reasons to use 1 of 10. 1 of 10 is fantastic. I love working with them. I use the tool very frequently. We've been using it in Awesome Creator Academy a lot. I've been playing with Spotter Studio, Spotter AI. So that's a good tool as well. There are a lot of really good tools out there. It is a matter of how you're going to make the best use of them. And it's a matter of, can you make them practical for your use case and how your content works, and also what is your overall strategy, what is your plan, how are you trying to uh, best take advantage of this, right? So I think that that's really kind of like the key here. I have another tool that has like a 60-day free trial for you. So this one's free, by the way. Um, just let me get the link here. Um, hang on a second. This thing isn't cooperating with me for some reason. There we go. So this one is Spotter. And so you want to get a free trial of that. It's a 60-day free trial. And so I dropped that in the chat for you guys. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I dropped that in the chat for you guys. Definitely make sure you're checking out. You get a 60-day free trial. You can sign up for that. And so that's just my referral link for it. 60 days free. Put your channel in, see how you like it, see what feedback it gives you. So that would be another tool that you can use. My suggestion for you is to use the free trial of all these tools and then see what your use case is. And so that's what I think is going to actually matter for a lot of you. And to also develop kind of your own methodology and say, well, my niche is this, so I'll try this. So that would be what I'd recommend. Simplicity says, do I think YouTube is dead? No, YouTube channels grow every year. New niches evolve in YouTube and subgenres of YouTube evolve every year. New TV shows come out, new video games come out. So everybody always has a chance to be successful in YouTube every year. You know what makes, I'm going to say something harsh that no one wants to hear. I will tell you actually why people don't succeed on YouTube, but you're not going to like it. People don't succeed on YouTube because they're trying to make content they're passionate about instead of making content people want to watch. And it's not the same thing. If you want to be successful at YouTube, you could find content that you know there's an audience for, make competitive content based on the standards of what's already getting views, and you could just make a successful YouTube channel. You could just make a competitive YouTube channel by looking at a competitive, successful YouTube channel and then becoming the rival to that YouTube channel by having standards that are 20% better than the existing YouTube channel. Whatever that took you had to do in editing skills, hiring a thumbnail artist, it's like, oh, find a successful channel on YouTube, find a thumbnail artist that's really good that can make better thumbnails than that, find them on Twitter. I have an entire list in Twitter of thumbnail artists for YouTube. You can find somebody, pay them whatever they're asking for. They'll make you better thumbnails than that channel. You can go ahead and look at that channel, find topics, and if that's a channel, you could be the rival to that channel. You can take the opposite opinion of that channel on every single topic. You could be their rival and take the opposite opinion on everything. They say this game or show is good, you can say it sucks. You could literally just become the rival and competitor and the mirror opposite, the evil doppelganger of any successful channel, and you would get some traction out of that. For every successful YouTuber with 1 million or 100,000 subscribers, 20% of people disagree with them, maybe more. And they might be underrepresented people because there's the prevailing point of view, but it's only because it's the represented point of view. It's the established point of view. You would be the counterculture, and then you would have a potential growth vertical, but you would still have audience capture of at least 20% of the people that disagree with them. Sometimes things become inverted, and then you become the predominant prevailing point of view. So that's the devil's advocate suggestion here. Like that's a strategy. The problem for that is, but I'm not passionate about that, Roberto. I'm not invested in that emotionally. That's not what my soul screams out for. It's people are not really invested in having a successful YouTube channel. That's why they're not successful. People are invested in expressing themselves, chasing their passion over a cliff, indulging their feelings, trying to be validated by an audience that they want to feel seen and heard by. You could just make a channel that is built to be successful. You could find a topic. You could find video essays to write. You could make video essay. You could do what Moon does. Moon is brilliant. You do what Moon does. You could make videos about the societal issues and make long video essays about societal issues. Never show your face. Do really good social commentary and have these videos that big streamers will react to because they're things that are popular in the zeitgeist. You could do that. You could you could make content reacting to Reddit and make bank. I've had clients make a fortune doing that. There are all kinds of manner of ways that if all you wanted was to make a successful YouTube channel and to make money and to get views and to get a play button, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's not radically complicated in terms of what you would have to do. You're just not going to like it. And therefore, it's just going to be no different than having any other job, except what you might like is you might like the perks better. So, why would you do that if it's just going to be another job you don't like? The reason that someone might do that is because even though it may not be a job they're passionate about or where they're expressing themselves, it would be one that they could do from home. So if they can do it from home, that's a lot of freedom. It would be one that gives them time flexibility to wake up whenever they want, spend time with their kid if that's what they want to do, work from home, be there when their kid comes home from school. That could be a reason. The other reason could be that even though you're working for free initially, you don't have a ceiling for how much money you could make. You can make unlimited amounts of money. So there's not a ceiling because there's not someone else as a boss deciding what you're going to be paid. So that would be another reason people would do it, even if they're not passionate about it. The main reason that people are not successful at YouTube is because their number one priorities in order are they want to have fun more than anything else. They want to make content they're passionate about more than anything else. And they want to feel seen and validated for the thing that they're passionate about more than anything else. They do not care about growing an audience because of serving an audience and giving people what they want. And they do not care about how practical their passion is when it comes to making money. They want those perks, but it's not the most important thing to them. If somebody's doing this and their goal is they want to be successful, then the most important thing is, can this make money? Can the audience be big enough? Is this something that is simple enough for me specifically to do well or to get good at? Those would be the things someone would be prioritizing. If their whole thing was, I want to be successful at YouTube, they'd go, okay, then I have to be able to have the skills and learn the skills to be successful. So my format can't be me pursuing my art project. My format has to be what I can do with the free time I have, with the energy I have, with the resources I have, with the technical ability I have, what works with my limitations in skills and lifestyle. That's what a career would prioritize. They would work with their limitation stuff. I want to make bangers. I want to make high quality content. I don't want to put out another mediocre video on YouTube, or no one needs this video on YouTube. I want to make art. I want to do. So it's all this pretentiousness. It's all this self-importantness. Now, if someone wanted to be successful, they wouldn't do the self-important thing. They would humble themselves and say, I will do the best I can with what I have where I am right now, but I will do everything in my power to make that competitive enough, to make a minimum viable product, to make something acceptable to the marketplace. And then they also wouldn't choose an esoteric niche, a weird, quirky niche that may not have a large market of people to watch the video. They would pick something that is going to be provably, hey, there's a bunch of people that are into this for a reason, and I can prove it. They would validate that with data, and they would do those things. And I'm not saying that you can never pursue your passion. I'm saying that passion is a privilege. Being able to pursue your passion is a privilege. If you're doing this as a hobby, it's fine. I have nothing against someone doing content as a hobby. I have nothing against someone doing what they're passionate about because they want to. My issue is when you do these things with hobby habits and then expect full-time outcomes. Hobby habits wanting career outcomes doesn't work, at least not in my experience. It works seldomly, it works rarely, and we always celebrate those rare and special unicorns, those anomalies, those wonder kids. But most of them, frankly, didn't come from working class backgrounds. Most of them are under 30. They don't have any family. They don't have kids. They're not taking care of their parents. They're not doing anything where they can't take that risk. They can fall flat in their space a million times and mommy and daddy will pick them back up. And not all of us have that luxury. So it's a luxury item as far as I'm concerned. That's just one person's point of view. Maybe it's a little cynical, but I just think that, hey, maybe if you're older, you're over 25, you're over 30, your life ain't like that. You're working class, your life ain't like that. Even if you're a little middle class or upper middle class, your life probably isn't like that because, yeah, you make good money, but you have all this responsibility. You don't have a lot of free time. You don't have a lot of spare energy. So you got to like bring your content standard down to the limitations of your lifestyle, your income, your resources, and your skills and what you can do to grow those skills. Then you have to work on that. You have to level up. You have to be patient, and it's going to be a grind. And so I would pick something that if you're going to do all that and make sacrifices and take away from what little free time you had, I think it should pay you well. So I would pick something that does. That's just my point of view. So for me, passion is not as important as those other things at that stage in life. If you're young, it's more important. If you're young, I think it's more important to try what you're passionate about because you have more room to fail. And it's the time in life when it makes the most sense to try. To be honest with you, it makes the most sense to try while you're young before you're encumbered with obligations. So we got D Blaze. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Hello, Roberto. Nice to see you're back. Quick question. If I do how-to tutorials for software, which category should I place it on? Technology or how-to? Either of those or education is fine for placing it. You should do well in the ad placement regardless. Categories matter less and less in YouTube for ad placement these days. That's what they were really meant for. The categories in YouTube are less about classifying the content and more they were about ad placement verticals. There's about 16 of them. But YouTube's algorithm and Google's algorithm is very sophisticated now. It can pick ads well enough to match for viewer preference plus content to make it make sense. So you'll be fine with either category. Don't overthink it. But great question, though. Do appreciate that. Cool. You signed up. Appreciate that. Yeah. Chris says he loves the devil's advocate suggestion. Yep. Yeah. Packaging is a steep learning curve. We try to address a lot of that in our Creator Foundations course. That is our free course over on Awesome Creator Academy if you want to check that out. awesomecreatoracademy.com, linked in the description. We try to address the packaging in the Creator Foundations course. Packaging your videos in terms of topic, title, thumbnail, timing is the hardest part. It does decide the destiny of a video, at least as far as views are concerned. As far as views are concerned, it decides the destiny of a video. My quality has never decided the outcome of a video. Quality has never done the outcome of a video. It's always been topic, title, thumbnail, and timing every single time. And I've done 1,700 videos. And then for all of my clients, it's never been the quality. They've done varying degrees of quality. Now, people call quality different things. There's a difference between quality, which I'd say the experience of a video, and then let's say the effort you put in to the ideation, the planning, the subject matter. That's different. And that's more about the value of the video up front. And so I think you could say, well, here's high value content in packaging. Here's high effort content in the spectacle and concept. Here's a high quality experience. And then here's consistency. And those, I think, are four different categories. YouTubers conflate a lot of these things. So there's a difference between a high quality video, which is a good experience. A high effort video has a barrier to making it. So a high quality video might require a greater deal of skill and time. A high value video is about picking the right topic. So that's about ideation and it's about the packaging. A high effort video is something that would be harder for a competitor to make and duplicate. That is the difference. But what most new YouTubers and young YouTubers, even experienced successful YouTubers do, is they conflate quality, value, and effort to all mean the same thing. I use very precise language. So a high effort video is when someone makes like spectacle content or makes a high effort challenge video. So effort is about level of difficulty. The reason most people don't succeed at YouTube is they make low effort content. If you make a Call of Duty how to video, that's low effort content. Any 15-year-old can make that video. You could make that video higher quality by having perfect audio, good timing, good pacing, a good personality, good delivery. So, yes, you can make a high quality Call of Duty video and you can make it higher quality than any other 15-year-old could. But it's very easy to duplicate that level of quality by just getting a decent microphone and polishing up your charisma a little bit and your gameplay a little bit. So there's not a very high barrier to entry to make something that good in that niche for that type of video. High effort content in a Call of Duty video might be something to the degree of 50 kills, no deaths. That would be wild in a single match. 50 kills, no deaths in a single match. Almost too good to be true, right? Almost clickbait. So that would be high effort because the level of skill required would be higher. Being first in the world to do mastery with this character in Brawl Stars, that is a feat. That is high effort content because, okay, you broke a world record or you were first in the world to do something. That's high effort content. Hard to duplicate, if not impossible to duplicate. Oh, I became like Wolfie, someone I work with. Wolfie. Oh, I became Pokemon World Champion, for the third time in a row. Like that is something hard to do. That is not a video other people can make because they cannot accomplish that feat. So that's high effort content. So high effort content is very difficult to duplicate and replicate because the level of skill, money, ability to do it, opportunity, access would make it something that excludes like 90 to 90% of all of your competition. Um, yeah, doing scientific testing or doing COD weapons, Call of Duty weapons in real life. Call of Duty weapons in real life. High effort content. People don't have access to that, don't have access to a shooting range, don't have the military training to do it safely. So yeah, that would make that a high effort video. Um, so doing something with Call of Duty in real life, that'd be very difficult for someone to do. Or doing it via special effects like Freddie Wong did back in the day. That'd make it very difficult for people to do. So that would make it high effort. Packaging is where the thumbnail looks better. The title is what it needs to be. This timing is perfect, on trend or evergreen. And we pick the topic that people care about. So value is about the perceived value of the viewer. The viewer is like, oh, I want to watch that because it's packaged well. So it's about perceived value, just like an iPhone. The iPhone, it's packaging. So then quality is the experience when I watch the video. That's not just production. It's production, it's on-camera performance, and it's the personality of the creator coming through the content. So those elements, and a lot of that is style, structure, storytelling, and what was the other one? Style, structure, storytelling. It was style, structure, storytelling. I think script. I think script is in there. I think so. I think that's it. I think I've always said that scripting, style, storytelling, and structure. So yeah, that's probably what it was. So the structure is things like the hook, the call to action, how you trigger engagement, all of those things. The storytelling is things like the stakes, and it would be things like the pacing. It'd be your editorial choices. The script is the narrative and how all of that is conveyed, obviously. Style is the ultimately things like the visual style, the approach, the tonality, music, sound design, all of those things. Branding. So those would represent the experience we have of quality. So value gets you views, quality gets you subscribers and retention. Effort is something that makes it hard for someone to duplicate those things and get views and subscribers instead of you. And then consistency is obviously what's going to keep people coming back, because if they value these things and they enjoy these things and you do more of them, then it's supply and demand. And so there's more opportunities to reach people. And so then that gives you growth. So that's the virtuous cycle of YouTube. That's basically the philosophy of YouTube in a nutshell. So those are the things that you want to focus on, in my opinion, is okay, can I start to, am I capable of putting in effort that makes me very, very competitive and makes it hard to duplicate? If you're a working class creator, you might not be able to make the highest effort content, not yet. So you should focus on content you can sustain as far as sustainable effort. You should focus on the value to the viewer and do that to the best of your ability. So get packaging more than anything: titles, topics, thumbnails, timing. Get the packaging and just go value and then go consistency, because you're not going to be able to make the highest effort content. And you're not going to be able to make the highest quality content, not right away. Not as a working class creator that's only got 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week of free time and free energy after working 50, 60 hours a week. So, that's out the window. So what do? You're down to, in my opinion, you're down to value. So packaging is perfect. And you're down to volume. Show up as often as you can. Again, as often as you can doesn't mean every day, but like you do what you can. So maybe your videos don't take 10 hours to make. Maybe they make 5 hours to make. Maybe they take 2 hours to make. And maybe you're putting out 2 to 3 times a week to make up for the fact that you can't make a banger every week. You're making that up by making 3 serviceable, acceptable videos a week, or 2. But you're getting efficient and you're doing what you can and you're doing the best you can. And you're just trying to say, I can get this out in 2 hours, I can get this out in 3 hours, and then work on the next one. And so you do that. It's not about putting out slop. It's about saying, this is acceptable, this is reasonable, but I'm going to package it the best I can and so I'd put more of the effort. Stop worrying about putting so much effort into editing. You put your effort into the topic, the title, and the thumbnail. Put your effort into your script or into your outline. Put your effort and your energy into performing it well, doing the audio, doing that delivery. And you don't have to agonize over every bloody editing trick in the world. Keep the editing simple. People don't like over edited content anymore. So, not everybody anyway. So, that's what I would do. So, I'd go value and volume, and then I would just be making content consistently as much as you can. And then as you do that, you'll have this back catalog of its evergreen content instead of chasing trends. So you can validate yourself with views as quickly as possible. Make evergreen content, make content that might get searched. That way it builds up views. You get monetized. You keep getting ad revenue. You're not on this treadmill anymore. You keep getting ad revenue. Then eventually, if you have enough of a back catalog content, it might start making enough money to where you might be able to leave that 9 to 5 job, because the back catalog is still making you thousands upon thousands of dollars. Plus, you're still putting out new content. So that's the strategy I believe in. And then maybe you get your first couple of brand deals. Maybe you lock in a long-term sponsorship, and then you can replace your job, and then you're good. And that's it. Now you have the free time. Now you have 40 hours a week freed up. Now you can make bangers. Or when you have that time off from the holidays, if you're not taking most of that time for yourself, then you can make bangers. That's how I believe in doing it. I believe in respecting that maybe as a working class creator, there's limitations you have that a full-time creator doesn't. So don't compete with a full-time creator. Do the best you can for someone at your level. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of just what my advice would look like in that situation. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks everybody for your questions. Again, make sure you're checking out our sponsors. We got 1 of 10 best tool for YouTube strategy. We got our good friends at Kajabi. Make sure you're checking out our free Creator Foundations course. And of course, make sure you're checking out and buy my book. Also, I'm going to need to make a banner for the podcast, because the podcast is back. Podcast is back. So make sure you guys check out the Create Something Awesome Today podcast. We're going to try and get you another episode tomorrow morning, but we've got 2 fresh episodes. You can also binge watch all your favorite episodes. So you can find that on everywhere podcasts are. So, make sure you're checking out Create Something Awesome Today, or you can just type my name into Apple or Spotify and you'll find it. Also, you could go to createsomethingawesometoday.com. I'm going to drop that in the chat for you. And you can find all of our podcast episodes there. Like I said, we got 2 fresh ones for you. And we've got another one dropping this week, if not 2 dropping this week. So we got that. And again, make sure you check out the podcast. Like I said, we want to get to 500 5-star reviews. We know we're not going to get that before the end of the year. We would if everybody watching right now drops a review on the podcast and listens to it tonight or tomorrow morning. That would make my day. That would make my year. But we're probably not going to get to 500 overnight or in a week or before the end of the year. But we'd love to get to 500 reviews in Apple specifically. If we can get to 100 in Spotify, 500 in Apple sometime, doesn't have to be this year, but sometime soon, that would be nice. And so if everybody watching right now, we've got almost 400 of you across 5 different platforms watching right now. It'd absolutely mean the world to me. But if not, just listen to the podcast when you can. Give it a review when you get around to it. We'd appreciate it. So make sure you're checking that out. Createsomethingawesometoday.com. And so you can find the podcast there. It's also the name of the book. Create Something Awesome Today is the book. You can find that on Amazon as well. Yes, Double Pulse. I am using Podpage for that, and it is awesome. I love Podpage. I'll be adding it to the tools and affiliate links section because I love Podpage and it is working. It was really good. I went with the pro plan. I went with the middle of the road plan. Probably should just get the enterprise plan, but I went with the middle of the road plan. $240 for the year. Money well spent. Very happy with it. Very happy with it. Jesse Chapman says, I love me a good podcast. I will jump on as soon as this is done. Yeah. We have our latest episode right now is with Paul Sampson. He's the CEO of Licked. So we talked about Content ID because his company deals with that. Content ID, copyright claims on YouTube, music brands taking creators' money, what really happened with the music licensing with TikTok. We get into that. He tells me some industry secrets. We talk about the music industry mafia and how these record labels work for real. So all kinds of really good stuff in that podcast. He was a great guy. He was very generous with his time with me. So we talked for about an hour in that episode. So really good stuff. Make sure you're checking it out. All right, everybody, stay awesome. I will catch you on the next one. We're gonna close out tonight with what are we gonna close out tonight with? We'll close out tonight with my book trailer, and we will see you next time. I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and create something awesome today. Take care.